All right, welcome to part 2 of chapter 12, where we are getting out of your bubble. Okay, this is going to be so good. The first part of this chapter 12, we were going over, being an opportunist. And this term has been thrown around like as a negative thing, but there's a big difference when you're like, trying to screw people over and trying to be a jerk about it. But when you see an opportunity and you take hold of it and you really go for it, that's when he was mentioning he was able to really just take his career to the next level. But then he was also mentioning a line that was really powerful. How can your passion become an extension of your business or an additional service to what you already offer? And personally, I just had some time to think about it. And I'm so excited for what we're creating within our agency, because over the years, we've really listened to what people want. Sometimes it's ridiculous, and sometimes it's like, you know what, that makes total sense. And what people want is always something that can help them get closer to what they desire. But sometimes people don't realize that they want step C and they need to start in A to get to ABC, right? So how can you bridge that? How can you make that into a passion project? How can you bring excitement and learning and growth and make it a fun experience for that other person? Or how can you simplify the process depending on what it is that you're offering? So I'm just super excited for what we're creating, because I feel like we've really hit a maturity level in our business where like we're doing something completely different than what we used to do. And we're doing something that's a lot more sustainable for the client, for our amazing coaches, because paying for a service can be very expensive over time if you're just paying for like one-off things. And it can also be very expensive if you try to do it on your own. If you try to go hire people, train them, they might not be the ones that work out, and then you never get anything done. So there's two huge areas that we feel like we've really mastered when it comes to hiring top talent, how to, execute on ideas, how to really establish a sustainable game plan to reach that ultimate goal, and how to work backwards from that big massive goal and get it to where, okay, this is where you want to start, this is where you're going to go, and eventually you're going to get here. So we're really good at that, and I'm excited for what we're creating. But anyways, that whole entire chapter that we just read brought that to me. And I'm excited for, the different opportunities that will arise from that, because we're working with a different energy. Ask yourself that in your business right now, what kind of energy are you using? Are you using more of like a masculine energy, or are you working with a more feminine energy? And if you are completely neutral in your energies, then you are probably in a space where you feel confident and you don't need to prove, obviously, to anyone. But then also you might be in a position where, I'm going to read this line again, your passion has not yet been your passion has not yet become an extension of your business. Okay, to the degree that you feel extremely empowered by, or like to a degree that you're like, I wake up every single morning and there's no doubt that I'm going in the right direction. If you're not at that point, okay, I feel like what we're about to read right now, Get Out of Your Bubble, okay, is going to help you get to that point, okay? Because Ryan is super passionate about, what he does and how he's able to get there and what he had to go through to actually get to where he's at. And he's created multiple different streams of income, knowing that there's so much opportunity out there. So if you're in a place like I was just mentioning, that passion hasn't been yet ignited the way that it can be, is because you haven't put in place the correct systems or the correct it could be revenues of income, or the correct projects, or the correct clients. That's a big one. If you haven't connected with the right people, then you're not living in that zone where it's like fun, really fun. So anyways, let's get into it. Part 2 of chapter 12. Okay, get out of your bubble. This is almost the last chapter of this book. So check this out. Get out of your bubble. When Amelia, Zena, and I move into our brownstone that we've been renovating for the past 2 years, I envision us all watching movies in cozy matching pajamas. Or maybe I'll learn to make pancakes and start wearing an apron and operating a spatula. I can imagine the pride I'll feel when Zena rides her first bicycle up and down the street. And hopefully she'll inherit my parents' work ethic and operate a lucrative lemonade stand. That's the kind of life I see for myself. Pajamas, carbs on Sundays, juice for sale. And come Monday mornings, Dad will put on his suit, straighten his tie, and head off to work for meetings. It's a wonderful life. But if I existed only in my bubble, where I am most comfortable, I would miss out on the countless opportunities to branch out. How much seed capital do lemonade stands require, by the way? I have to push myself out of my bubble. Twice a month, I schedule growth work in my calendar. These pockets of time are dedicated to attending events where I'll meet new, interesting, and creative people and be exposed to new ideas. I'll be the first person to admit that I see growth work in my calendar and I want to throw up. Growth work is the work that you do that you don't want to do. So you reserve time in your calendar to do exactly that. Most of my growth work involves socializing, which basically means networking. However you want to classify it, I don't like to do it. It makes me nauseous to do it, and I hate it so much. And that's why I do it. It's the job. It's what I committed to doing. And because I'm an adult, I do what I tell myself I'm going to do. Because I'm an adult, I do what I tell myself I'm going to do. But what I actually like doing? Well, I like playing games. My growth work involves making a social event a Grand Theft Auto mission. I walk into an event with one simple goal: to meet the smartest person in the room. Boom, there he is. This serves as a perfect Jedi mind trick for me, because even though I'll just have finished a conversation with an investment banker who shared some brilliant ideas about mortgages, my mind is already reeling with possibilities. And the truth is, how do I know he's the smartest person in the room? I don't. I'll push myself to investigate further, which means I'm forced to talk to someone else. I must find the smartest person. Oh my God, this graphic designer is blowing my mind with creative ideas. Wow, is she the smartest? I can't be sure. I'll force myself to talk to one more person, and finally, I'll meet another someone who specializes in online learning. What a smart guy. He gives me an idea, do an online class. Great idea. I'll do an online class, and just like that, I have a new venture to contribute to my millionaire plan. Growth work always starts with me whining like a toddler who doesn't want to go to bed because I really, really want to go home, and ends with me walking home thinking, oh my God, what if I had gone right home? I left that party with a new way of thinking about investor loans, ideas about growing my media company, and the idea of an online class, which is amazing. Get out of your bubble to create more opportunities for yourself. That's what it is. That's what I was talking about at the beginning. It's like getting out of your comfort zone is where your passion really ignites to become that source that you use whenever you're like not wanting to do whatever it is that you need to do. So what does your bubble look like? When I started doing growth work regularly, I couldn't believe how many ideas I was generating. Some were admittedly ridiculously and super not there. No matter how much I love ice cream, I should not devote my energy to making calorie-free ice cream. Those ideas were tossed. Although, if someone invents that and it still tastes like ice cream and not cardboard ice cream, definitely let me know. Other ideas I wanted to explore right away, like bringing someone in-house to help me produce content. These were ideas I decided to act on now. I'd bring the idea up to my team, start brainstorming, talking about how this branch might help us grow. That's how opportunity works. You spot it and then execute to get the product out there and start making more money. Other ideas like the online class got me so very excited, but I knew I didn't have the time to, or staff to move forward with it yet. These ideas got placed in the future file labeled Future Ryan. The Future Ryan file is essentially a file of goals that I keep right on my desk, full of notes about things I want to accomplish, but have to wait to proceed until another time, and manpower is available. I visit my Future Ryan file every month, adding to it, looking through the ideas to see if any of them have become viable yet. Growth work has led me to writing this book. If I hadn't been on $1 million list in New York, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to do the show Seller Like Serhant, which had led to the opportunity to do a masterclass for real estate brokers in New York City. Talking in front of all those successful brokers showed me that, wow, I have something to say. I realized at that moment I had gained enough knowledge to put a book together. None of this would have happened if on my way to do growth work, I had let myself take the easy way out and said, oh, I'm doing great. I'm making money. I'll just give myself a break and go home and watch Netflix. Netflix is great, but it's not going to help you discover lucrative new opportunities to make you millions. Get out of your bubble and go grow. Opportunists are constantly looking for growth. We feed off growth. We take each opportunity and squeeze it for everything that it's worth. Opportunists have become have big money energy because they are always listening closely for the next fix. They go to bed smiling when a new idea arises because they have a new opportunity to jump on first thing in the morning. No, thank you. After my experience selling my first building, I knew one thing. I wanted to focus on the big FO, not FU, the big FO. May sound like a cuisine, but it really stands for future opportunities. While I wish there wasn't a limit to what a single human can accomplish, there is. I'm limited in what I can accomplish today, but next year or next week, but not next year or next week. Time gives me more stamina. If you're anything like me, the idea of turning down work makes you want to throw up. But when you're expanding, you need to grab on opportunities that also buy you time in the future. There are opportunities for right now, renting an apartment, opening a yoga studio on the side, and there's the big FO. We've all operated in the now, and that's fine. But in order to surge ahead and make millions, you need to graduate to the bigger goals, selling and flipping homes, owning a chain of yoga studios, you name it. After being a sales director of an entire building, I was hungry for more FO. And I started asking myself 3 questions before I took on any project to evaluate if it would lead to more FO. Here are some of the questions that he began asking himself. The 3 questions. How many minutes is this costing me? It's a good one. By now, you've learned that I am passionately protective about my minutes. Minutes are so valuable. They're as valuable as gold. So it's important to analyze if the minutes spent are worth the amount of potential income. 1,000 minutes for $1,000 commission or profit is a clear no thank you. The more minutes, the more money I have to make. And will this deplete my minutes? If a project presents complications from the beginning, I need to analyze if the minutes spent are worth the amount of potential income. If not, if it's not worth it, pass it off to some junior on your team. Is there a visible path to FO? Just to make the equation slightly more complicated, a project would require thousands of minutes to make a moderate commission. Seems like a clear no thank you. But if the project involves working with a developer who I know has many more bigger projects in the pipeline, then the math might work in favor of taking the job. And number 3, well, I make invaluable connections. An old dusty brownstone that hasn't been modernized can be hard to sell. People love sleek new kitchens. No one wants dumb waiters. They're creepy. They're creepy. A project like this could suck up thousands of my minutes for one sale. But hold the phone. If I get a good price on this brownstone, I'll have planted the seed that I can get a great price for other homes on the block. This could lead to other listings from neighbors whose homes I could sell for huge amounts of money. The referrals this could bring are solid FOs. So this is a yes. As you're branching out, analyze the situation to the best of your ability. How much time will it take? What's the payoff? Is that worth the hard work it will take? Will putting in the work now bring me much larger opportunities in the future? If your main focus is currently growing branches, get comfortable holding out for more FO and leaving those smaller, lower paying, energy sucking jobs for someone else. Oof. I have to read that really slow because it's speaking to me so hard. Like, it's so good. Like, if you're in a position where you're freaking doing everything in your business, you have to let it go. Like, you need to, it's freaking 2022. It's so valuable. Like, your time is so valuable, and you need to understand the power of delegation, allowing other people to do the job, and allowing other, like, paying how much it would actually, like, how much is your time worth? Really, really. And then really understanding, okay, he mentions 1,000 minutes for $1,000 commission is a clear no thank you. And I feel like a lot of people would look at that as an even trade because they're in this zone, like how I was mentioning, the balance, like more masculine or feminine energy. Not saying that masculine or feminine energy are, bad or good, but I'm saying, like, in the balance scale, if you're putting out the same amount, you're still like just stagnant. So you want to tip the scales to your favor. And I feel like so many people are literally doing everything in their business, whether it's the tech side, whether it's the lead gen side, whether it's the content side. And then they look up and they're like, what am I doing this for? Like, why did I get into this? It's not fun. So what he's talking about is so freaking powerful. I love this. If you are not putting in place at least twice a month or at least once a month, if you want to, a growth, how was it? What is it called? Growth time. If you're not scheduling growth time in your calendar, growth work, you have to do it. Like, it's so important. Anyways, I'm going to continue here. Don't play it safe. When I first moved to New York and lived in Koreatown, the first thing I'd see in the morning was the wall on the other side of my bed, a grungy, sort of cigarette smoke colored wall with nothing on it. It's like I opened my eyes every morning and was confused with my total lack of abundance in the form of depressing, gross wall. If that wall could talk, it would have said, "Good morning, Ryan. Welcome to another day in your sucky life." This was not an experience I wanted to repeat every morning for the rest of my life. I started to visualize something better. I'd wake up and before opening my eyes, I'd imagine I lived in a penthouse apartment. In my mind, that apartment was in Soho, a neighborhood I loved. My bedroom would have an actual walls and a door, and I was living in a studio. And when I woke up, I'd have a view of the city outside my window with my own private terrace. I'd imagine myself getting up and taking a shower in a beautiful marble bathroom. Maybe you would have a walk-in rain shower like the nicer apartments in New York City did, with a hand wand. And the best part is, I wouldn't have to literally wait in line to use said bathroom because it was my own damn bathroom. The rest of my apartment would be so tastefully decorated with good furniture. The walls would not be the color of death, and there would be actual art hanging on them. It would take a few years, but I got that penthouse in Soho, and it's everything I imagined it to be. I don't think lying in bed and envisioning your dream life is like a magic formula for making what you want appear. But I do believe that thinking about your dream life inspires you to go out into the world and work harder to earn more, focusing on what you really, really want and can push you to take the risk. Maybe thinking about how great it would feel to drive that car that isn't falling apart will push you to call that new contact you made last week. You don't want roommates anymore? Well, then it's time to really push for that promotion so you can earn more money and afford that apartment that makes your heart sing. You want to wake up excited about satisfying work that you're doing to save the world. Well, then go out there and finally get the job that makes you want to get up and go do that work. Take time every day to think about the bigger dreams and bigger earnings you can bring in. A luxurious European vacation or paying for college. How awesome to picture your kids in their caps and gowns and walking across the stage on graduation day. What a great motivator. Maybe imagine paying off all that credit card debt and you think about lying in the park without a care in the world before your first of every month. If you want to open your own business, imagine what it would be like to leave your house and walk into your very own company, knowing that all options are limitless and allowing yourself to want it all will open you up to doing more, exploring new opportunities, and getting creative about how to make it happen. I'm writing this from the dining room table in my penthouse apartment and wouldn't be here if I woke every morning, saw that gross wall and thought, sure, this is enough for me. You gotta aim higher. And guess what? Once you get what you want, your dreams will change and you'll have something new to aim for. As I'm typing this, I'm also renovating my new 8,000 square foot Brooklyn brownstone, the largest single family home in Byram Hill, a very fancy neighborhood in Brooklyn. I dreamt it too. I got it. If you want to earn more, don't play it safe. Safe is fine. Safe will get you an average life, an average income, and all the average things that come along with it. You are not average. What can you do to break out of your safe zone and start earning more? Think about the craziest ideas that you've ever had. Are they all that crazy? What's holding you back? Open yourself up to new possibilities. Toss some of those safety precautions aside and just take a risk. Say goodbye to average forever and see what you can do when you just take a risk. That was so freaking good. That was so freaking good. I love when a chapter really, I'll be honest with you, I was feeling kind of like I didn't want to read. Well, I like to read, obviously, but I didn't want to read out loud. I felt like I kind of wanted a nap. And this just brought me back up to like the real reason why I do what I do. And it's so amazing that once your mind is stretched to like a certain thing, like if you've experienced something that is completely out of your comfort zone, little by little, your mind starts stretching. And once your mind has been stretched, you can't get it back to where it used to be. Just as a simple thing, it's like we cannot, like Vanessa and I, we can't live in a small apartment. Like we know the amount, I already know the amount of square footage, the amount of bedrooms, the amount of bathrooms that just the two of us require. Okay. We're not big in material things, but we're big on experiences. We're big on like, if we go somewhere, we want to rent that particular car. We want to stay at that particular hotel. We want to be able to go to that particular restaurant, and we want to be able to experience that particular show. You know, like that's what we really do, everything that we do, because those are the experiences that give you that motivation, that energy, that, you know, I'm so glad I took that thing. It's like that reward, you know? So I encourage you to get out of your comfort zone today. And I know that what I need to do. I know exactly what I need to do. And I'm so glad that I picked up the book, freaking got into the zone, and literally as I'm reading with you and I'm literally sharing this with you, you probably didn't see it, but I felt it. You know, I transformed within me because I needed to hear that. Like I really needed to hear that. And I'm so excited for what's to come in this week, because it's a huge, huge week for so many different reasons. My family, our business, like everything. So it's like, I'm so grateful. You know, this is Money May. Money May is filled with opportunity. We just had a lunar eclipse the other day. Like, what an adventure. You know, life is so filled with opportunity. So go out there, go do it. You need to listen to this chapter, do so. If you don't have the physical book, get the physical book. Like you need to see these words right in front of you, because I know that I had a moment where like I know I wasn't reading so like smoothly. It was because I was processing what was actually happening. And I feel like those are the moments that are so valuable to life. Okay, so I know this was a deep, deep, deep deep thing, but I'm so glad that I got to experience it with you. I'll see you in the last chapter of this amazing book in the next video, and God bless you. God bless your creativity. So grateful for you. Make sure to hit like, make sure to share this with a friend, make sure to share it with anybody that you feel deserves to listen to something that, you know, will feed their soul, feed their mind, get them to get up and, you know, pursue that impossible thing that they might have in their mind, that is just in their mind, you know? All right, I'll see you in the next one. Talk to you soon.